Can you believe some of the world's greatest ocean discoveries were made completely by accident? Join us as we take you through the 15 most terrifying things recently discovered in the ocean. From ancient sea creatures with unimaginable jaws to enigmatic deep-sea phenomena that defy all explanation, we will uncover the fascinating stories behind these incredible discoveries and the secrets they reveal about ancient civilization. Number 15. Immortal jellyfish. Imagine a creature that doesn't grow old or die from age-related diseases. A creature that quite literally cheats death by regenerating into a younger version of itself when faced with life-threatening situations or environmental stress. This isn't science fiction, but a living reality, and it's known as the Turritopsis dohrnii. This sea creature, often nicknamed the Immortal jellyfish, can do the impossible. When it encounters threatening conditions like a change in temperature or salinity, or even injury, it has the ability to morph back into its juvenile form, a stage known as the polyp stage. This process is called transdifferentiation, and essentially means the creature can transform its cells from one type to another. Despite its nickname, the Turritopsis dohrnii isn't a true jellyfish at all. Instead, it's a hydrozoan, which is a different class of cnidarians, making it closer kin to hydras and corals than actual jellyfish. The world first got wind of this amazing creature back in 1883, but it was only in the mid-1990s that its incredible immortality trick was uncovered. These little guys are barely visible, clocking in at under 0.2 inches in diameter. They have a clear, bell-shaped body crowned by a multitude of tentacles. While they begin life with just 8 tentacles, the count can shoot up to 90 as they mature. A red stomach visible through the transparent body gives this creature a captivating look. On top of that, these tiny titans are fierce predators. They feast on zooplankton, small fish, fish eggs, and mollusks, using their stinging tentacles to paralyze and capture their prey. Although you can breathe a sigh of relief, as their sting doesn't harm humans. These creatures are also the ultimate hitchhikers, catching rides on ships by clinging onto ballast water and cargo. From their original home in the Mediterranean Sea, they've managed to colonize oceans worldwide. Number 14. Atlit Yam. Let us introduce you to something incredibly fascinating, Atlit Yam. This place isn't your typical historical site. It's an entire Neolithic village resting underwater off the coast of Atlit, Israel. We're talking about an age-old settlement that's somewhere between 8,300 and 8,900 years old. This submerged Neolithic time capsule was unveiled in 1984 by marine archaeologist Ehud Galili, who opened the door to a world previously unseen. This undersea wonder isn't small either, covering a whopping 10 acres. You can find just about everything you'd expect from an ancient settlement here. Rectangular houses, warming hearths, wells, and even burial sites. Atlit Yam also showcases a unique stone circle, and it's believed that this place was deserted in a hurry due to a catastrophic tsunami triggered by a volcanic eruption. What's especially interesting about Atlit Yam is that it gives us a glimpse into the earliest known combined farming, pastoral, and marine lifestyle along the Levantine coast. One of the most astonishing finds here is the oldest known instance of tuberculosis, found in the remains of a woman and a child. It's a discovery that takes our understanding of ancient diseases to a whole new level. Atlit Yam boasts a freshwater spring enveloped by 7 mammoth stones arranged in a semicircle. This was likely a significant site for water rituals, providing a tantalizing peek into the villagers' spiritual life. The underwater marvel also showcases a well that plunges 10.5 meters below sea level. It's a masterfully crafted piece constructed from dry stone walling, spanning 1.5 meters in diameter and reaching a further 5.5 meters down. The sea swallowed Atlit Yam after the last ice age ended, and sea levels began to rise. Number 13. Giant eyeball. Have you ever come across a mystery that's both bizarre and fascinating? That's exactly what happened when a giant eyeball washed up on a beach in Florida in 2012. The eye, about the size of a softball, was found by a passerby strolling along Pompano Beach. The blue iris and white sclera were so fresh and intact that it was clear the eyeball had not been separated from its owner for long. The discovery led to a flurry of speculation among marine biologists about the possible source of the eye. Could it be a tuna, a swordfish, or maybe even a giant squid? You see, these creatures are known to have eyeballs up to a whopping 10 inches in diameter. Fast forward a bit, and after thorough examination and comparison with other known specimens, the experts cracked the case. The owner of the eyeball was a swordfish, The color, size, structure, and even the bones of the eyeball all pointed to this conclusion. But why was it severed from its owner? Well, it's likely that a fisherman had cut it out and discarded it into the sea. Believe it or not, swordfish are among the few fish species with eyes that can measure up to 10 inches in diameter. But it's not just their size that's unique. They also possess a specialized organ known as a heater organ near their eyes. This incredible piece of evolution allows them to warm their eyes and brains, enabling them to venture into colder waters in search of food. It's a temperature increase of a staggering 10 to 15 degrees Celsius above the water's temperature. When it comes to hunting in the dark, chilly waters between 500 and 700 feet deep, their large eyes are a true asset. They help the swordfish detect the faint bioluminescence of their prey in the dark. And there's more. These amazing creatures also use their eyes for communication and predator evasion. Depending on the situation, they can change their eye color from blue to silver or white. And get this, they can move their eyes independently, enabling them to scan different directions simultaneously. Number 12, the Kraken Whirlpool. Nestled between the Scottish islands of Jura and Scarba, there exists a natural phenomenon that leaves onlookers awestruck, the Kraken Whirlpool. This isn't just any ordinary whirlpool, it's the third largest in the world, surpassed only by Saltstraumen and Moskstraumen, both in Norway. The sheer power of Kraken is both terrifying and beautiful. It is known to reach soaring heights of 30 feet, and the sound of water is so deafening that it reaches a volume of 140 decibels. Picture waves that, instead of rushing forward, just bounce up and down on the spot. They're called standing waves, and they're quite a sight to see. Now, what makes Kraken special? The secret lies in the underwater geography and powerful tidal currents. On one end, the strait dives to a depth of around 660 feet, but this dramatically rises to a rock ridge only about 100 feet deep on the other side. As the water is squeezed through this narrow pathway, the velocity increases and creates the turbulence that we see on the surface. But here's the thing, Kraken isn't always in full force. It oscillates with the tidal flow, weather, and seasons. The maelstrom shows its full might during the spring tides when the difference between the high and low tide is at its peak, and during storms when the wind adds an extra punch to the already powerful water flow. Conversely, during neap tides, when there's minimal tidal change, the whirlpool simmers down. Kraken has also tested the mettle of countless sailors and thrill-seekers over the years. In a famous near-miss incident, renowned author George Orwell almost lost his life when he got caught in a whirlpool while on a fishing expedition in 1947. His boat's engine conked out, leaving them at the mercy of the raging currents. Fortunately, they managed to row to a nearby island and were ultimately rescued by a lobster fisherman. Orwell was staying on Jura at the time, working on his now iconic novel, 1984. Quite the adventure, isn't it? Number 11. San Jose Shipwreck. Once upon a time, in the year 1708, the San Jose galleon, a robust vessel of the Spanish Armada de la Guardia de la Carrera de las Indias, met a tragic fate. Laden with a cargo of gold, silver, and emeralds, the San Jose was a floating treasure chest, estimated to be worth an astounding $17 billion in 2023. But this ship and its riches never reached their destination. Instead, it sank off the coast of Colombia, near Cartagena, following a fiery clash with the British Navy. This event is now remembered as Wager's Action. Fast forward to November 2015. The wreckage of the San Jose, a three-masted 64-gun galleon that first sailed the seas in 1698, was discovered in its watery grave 600 meters deep. The discovery was made by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and was subsequently announced by the Colombian government in December of the same year. But the story of San Jose is far from over. The ship, part of a treasure fleet comprised of 3 Spanish warships and 14 merchant vessels, was originally bound from Portobello, Panama to Cartagena, Colombia. It was carrying an unimaginable fortune in precious gems and metals sourced from the South American colonies, intended to fund the war efforts of the Spanish king. Now, everyone wants a piece of the pie. Spain claims the ship and its treasures as a ship of state, protected by United Nations regulations. On the other hand, Colombia considers the valuable haul a national treasure and has plans to showcase it in a soon-to-be-built museum in Cartagena. But they're not the only ones staking a claim. There's a third party in the mix, the Sea Search Armada, a group of American investors. They argue that they located the shipwreck off the Colombian coast back in 1981 and had registered its location. Thus, they contend they have a rightful claim to San Jose's treasures. While the dispute continues, one thing is clear. The San Jose Shipwreck is one of the most valuable ever discovered, and its story continues to captivate the world. Number 10. Mariana Trench. Have you ever heard about the world's deepest oceanic trench? That's right. We are talking about the Mariana Trench, a mysterious and awe-inspiring spot located in the western Pacific Ocean. This jaw-dropping abyss plunges down an incredible 10,994 meters, or 36,070 feet, at a location known as the Challenger Deep. To put it in perspective, if you were to take Mount Everest and plop it down into the Mariana Trench, its summit would still be over a mile underwater. And you know what's truly terrifying about the Mariana Trench? It's the bizarre and fascinating creatures that call this deep, dark, and chilly place home. Picture giant amphipods, a type of crustacean that can stretch up to 13 inches long. Then there's the anglerfish, sporting a bioluminescent lure to draw in its next meal. The barrel-eye fish is another peculiar resident with its transparent head and tube-shaped eyes. And let's not forget about the xenophyophores, single-celled organisms that can reach an impressive 8 inches in diameter. Scientific interest in the Mariana Trench has never waned. In fact, in 2009, it was declared a U.S. national monument in recognition of its extraordinary biodiversity and geological features. In 2019, explorer Victor Vescovo pushed the boundaries further. Steering his submersible, the limiting factor, he dove to an astonishing depth of 10,928 meters at the Challenger Deep. This feat set a new record for the deepest human-made dive ever. During this expedition, Vescovo also found 4 new species of prawn-like crustaceans. But alongside these exciting discoveries, he found something disturbing: evidence of plastic pollution at the deepest point on Earth. Number 9. Toxic red tide. Have you ever heard of a red tide? It's a frightening phenomenon that occurs in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, with an explosion of algae that's so dense it actually turns the water a dark, menacing red or rusty brown color. This isn't just scary to look at, though. Red tides can pack a lethal punch for the inhabitants of the ocean, and they're no picnic for humans either. The problem lies in the toxins these algae produce. From fish to marine animals and even birds, red tide toxins can be a deadly encounter. And for us humans, the advice from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is simple: steer clear of red tide waters. It seems the toxins can cause skin irritation, trigger rashes, and even make our eyes burn and sore. For people with asthma or lung disease, the situation is even worse. And if you're thinking of indulging in some shellfish while red tide is in town, think again. These critters can become contaminated with red tide toxins. If consumed, people might find themselves dealing with neurotoxic shellfish poisoning. But what causes this scary undersea event? The culprits are tiny plankton that have, well, just gotten out of control. Scientists call this a population explosion. Although we don't know all the specifics yet, this overgrowth of plankton could be triggered by shifts in water temperature, changes in saltiness, fluctuations in nutrients, or even different wind patterns. The consequences of red tide reach far beyond human health concerns. It wreaks havoc on marine life and ecosystems by choking and poisoning creatures, reducing oxygen levels, and blocking sunlight from underwater plants. Not to mention, it can throw a real wrench in the local tourism and fishing industries by turning beautiful beaches into toxic wastelands and making seafood dangerous to eat. Number 8. Devil scorpion fish. Let's talk about another creature that sends shivers down the spines of those who know it: the devil scorpion fish. Also referred to as the false stonefish or false scorpion fish, this character is part of the scorpionfish family and is not a critter you want to accidentally step on. Devil scorpion is a fish with a bulky head, wide mouth, hunched back, and a body that narrows down to the tail. It grows to around 30 centimeters. But what's really impressive, or perhaps terrifying, is its dorsal fin. It boasts 12 venomous spines and between 8 to 10 soft rays. Its skin is rugged and covered with low cone-like projections, spines, and even tassels. Its gray, white, and reddish-brown mottled appearance provides perfect camouflage amidst stones and corals. A true master of disguise, this bottom-dwelling predator uses its camouflage skills to ambush unsuspecting prey. It's a creature of the night and likes to partially bury itself in sandy seabed during daylight hours. If bothered by a curious diver or potential predator, it fans out its vibrantly colored pectoral and caudal fins in a visual back-off signal. Now here's the truly terrifying part. If you happen to touch, or worse, step on one of these fishes, you're in for an extremely painful experience. Their venomous spines deliver a sting that can lead to intense pain, swelling, sickness, fever, convulsions, and even paralysis. and in severe cases, it can be fatal. The immediate remedy involves plunging the stung area into hot water and rushing for medical help. So, the devil scorpionfish is yet another reminder that the ocean, while fascinating, is also home to many creatures that command our respect and caution. Number 7. World War II Graveyard. Here's a chilling fact. One of the most enormous underwater graveyards in the world is situated in the peaceful, coral-laden waters of the Chuuk Lagoon, formerly known as the Truk Lagoon, within the Federated States of Micronesia. In February 1944, the U.S. Navy carried out Operation Hailstone, a 2-day surprise onslaught. Their mission was clear: take down the Japanese fleet and airbase that threatened the Allies' progression in the Pacific. The operation was devastatingly effective, sinking more than 50 ships and wiping out more than 250 planes. What followed was a grim reality. The Chuuk Lagoon turned into a massive watery cemetery, claiming the lives of thousands of Japanese soldiers and sailors. But beyond the eeriness, the lagoon serves as a submerged time capsule encapsulating World War II history. Among the twisted metal and corroded relics lie artifacts from a bygone era: weapons, ammo, vehicles, tanks, motorcycles, bicycles, radios, telephones, typewriters, cameras, and personal effects. Shockingly, human remains can also be found within this underwater museum. While some wrecks remain largely intact, others have succumbed to the relentless passage of time and the power of nature. Despite its grim backstory, Chuuk Lagoon has become a hotspot for advanced scuba divers and underwater explorers drawn to the haunting spectacle of the sunken fleet. It's not just a historical goldmine, but also teeming with marine life, including coral reefs, fish, turtles, rays, sharks, dolphins, and even whales. That said, diving in the lagoon isn't for the faint-hearted. The depth and darkness require advanced skills and proper equipment, and the presence of unexploded ordnance, sharp metal edges, entanglement risks, and toxic substances add to the inherent dangers. In essence, Chuuk Lagoon is a stunning paradise on the surface, yet home to dark secrets beneath its waves. Number 6. Kraken. You know what can really give you the shivers? Imagining the monstrous Kraken, a mythic sea creature of colossal proportions, reputed to lurk off the shores of Norway. It's often portrayed as a gigantic squid or octopus, boasting a sprawling array of supple yet deadly tentacles capable of seizing and obliterating entire ships. So immense is the Kraken, it's often confused with an island. Its gaping mouth is mistaken for a bay, and its jagged teeth are nothing less than colossal boulders. Plus, its sheer size is rumored to churn whirlpools in its wake. Of course, the real-life version of the Kraken isn't as dramatic, but it's no less awe-inspiring. Meet the giant squid or Architeuthis ducks, the most extensively known squid species in the world. The largest one discovered so far stretched nearly 43 feet long, including its tentacles, the length of a semi-trailer. Yet, based on the giant squid beaks found in the bellies of their predators, sperm whales, scientists theorize that they could potentially grow up to an astonishing 66 feet long. In 2015, beachgoers at Golden Mile Beach in Britannia Bay, South Africa, were treated to an unusual spectacle: a washed-up giant squid. This particular specimen measured 13 feet long and tipped the scales at about 660 pounds. It's entirely possible that the chilling legend of the Kraken sprung from sightings of giant squids, which can reach lengths of 40 to 50 feet. Modern descriptions of the Kraken began appearing as early as 1700, with Francesco Negri being one of the first to document it. The idea of the Kraken remains a terrifying figure that has dominated the nightmares of sailors and explorers for hundreds of years, serving as a symbol of the deep, unexplored dangers that lie beneath the surface of the sea. Number 5. Gulper eel. Among the most peculiar and bone-chilling dwellers of the deep is the Gulper eel. This deep-sea dweller is known for its massive jaw, capable of opening wide enough to swallow prey larger than itself. It has a pelican's pouch, that's what this eel's lower jaw looks like, built-in storage space for its food until it's ready to chow down. These impressive creatures inhabit the dark, cold depths of our planet's temperate and tropical seas, found up to 3 kilometers beneath the surface. Now, what makes these eels even more impressive is their bioluminescent abilities. Yes, these eels can create their own light show, producing a captivating pink glow along with a series of red flashes from their tail. This spectacle helps them lure in prey and mates. Yet, despite their fascinating characteristics, there's still a lot of mystery around these eels. They're rarely spotted, making it hard for us to learn more about their life cycles, behaviors, or even how many there are out there. We haven't heard of many dangerous run-ins with these eels, primarily because they're so elusive and challenging to encounter. That said, their peculiar look can make some feel uneasy or even threatened. In 2018, a group of scientists exploring near Hawaii came across a gulper eel that decided to put on quite a show. It expanded its mouth, resembling a giant balloon, and flashed its red tail, leaving the team in awe and amusement. Yet such an unfamiliar sight could easily unsettle some viewers. Another run-in occurred near the Cocos Islands in the Indian Ocean, where a fisherman netted one of these enigmatic eels. The eel's giant mouth and stretchy skin raised curiosity more than fear, leading the fisherman to capture the experience with photos and videos before setting the creature free. Some people, however, might find such an encounter quite shocking. In the grand scheme of things, these gulper eels aren't a threat to us or other animals. They're merely adapting to their extreme environment, surviving and finding food in the dark depths of the ocean. But there's no denying that coming face to face with one could be an unnerving sight. Another reminder of the chilling mysteries lurking in our ocean's depths. It's time for today's subscriber pick. The crew of the Macon embarked on a peaceful voyage in the South Pacific, unaware of the danger that lay ahead. They discovered what appeared to be harmless rocks floating on the water's surface, but their investigation turned into a grave mistake. When this crew realized what they were seeing, it was nearly too late to escape. As they sailed through the stone sea, their engines started failing, forcing them to make a desperate turn back. However, their escape was met with a terrifying sight. The water behind them began boiling and erupting with smoke and ash as a massive volcano emerged from the depths, giving birth to a new island right before their eyes. They watched in both awe and horror, realizing they had witnessed one of nature's rarest and most dangerous events. By the narrowest of margins, they survived their terrifying encounter, sailing into the mouth of hell and living to share their remarkable tale. Number 4. Underwater crop circles. Lurking in the depths of our seas is a remarkable and somewhat unnerving phenomenon. Underwater crop circles. These intricate symmetrical patterns, carved meticulously into the ocean floor, were discovered off the coast of Japan in 1995. But it wasn't until 16 years later, in 2011, that the mastermind behind these intricate designs was caught red-finned, a male pufferfish. Now, these pufferfish aren't just indulging their creative side. These circles are all about romance. They're part of an elaborate mating practice. The male fish uses his fins to craft these grand sand sculptures, adding finishing touches with fragments of shells and coral. In the center, the finest sand particles are gathered, creating a soft bed for the female to lay her eggs. What makes these circles even more amazing is that they're not just beautiful, they're functional too. These meticulously crafted sand formations provide a protective barrier, keeping the eggs safe from predators and currents. But once the romance is over, it's over. The pufferfish tends to abandon his sandy masterpiece after the mating is complete. The circles they create are not small works of art either. Each spans around 2 meters in diameter, intricately adorned with carefully placed ridges, valleys, and embellishments. The male pufferfish dedicates around a week to 10 days to complete each circle, a true testament to his commitment. After all the hard work, it's up to the female pufferfish to judge his efforts. She scrutinizes the circle, deciding whether the creator is worthy of being her mate. Once the eggs are laid and the babies hatch, the father stands guard, fiercely protecting his offspring until they are ready to venture into the ocean on their own. These underwater crop circles may be found in tropical and temperate oceans worldwide, but they're still considered a rarity, and studying them poses quite a challenge. So while they may not be traditionally terrifying, there's something eerily fascinating about these meticulously crafted circles. Number 3. Locomotive Graveyard. Immersed in the oceanic abyss off New Jersey's coast lies an unexpected sight, a sunken graveyard of trains from the mid-19th century. It was discovered purely by accident by a man named Paul Hepler in 1985 when he was conducting a sea-bottom survey using a magnetometer. Deep under 90 feet of water, you'd find 2 preserved locomotives that are believed to be rare Planet Class 222T models. Manufactured for a brief period, these models quickly fell out of favor, becoming outdated almost as soon as they hit the tracks. These were small, self-contained engines, tipping the scales at around 15 tons each. Here's the twist. Nobody knows how they ended up there. There's no historical record of these locomotives being lost, or even manufactured for that matter. This has led experts to theorize that they were being ferried from Boston to the mid-Atlantic region on a barge. During a storm about 5 miles off the coast of Long Branch, New Jersey, the engines were either accidentally swept overboard or intentionally jettisoned to lighten the load and save the ship from capsizing in the tumultuous seas. Currently, there's a plan to salvage these underwater relics and restore them to their former glory. The man at the helm of this ambitious undertaking is Dan Lieb, who's collaborating with the New Jersey Museum of Transportation to make this happen. Just another story to show what mysteries lie in the depths of the ocean. Number 2. Antikythera Mechanism. Let's dive deep into the oceanic depths of a centuries-old Greek shipwreck, where lies a mind-boggling ancient artifact known as the Antikythera Mechanism. Discovered in 1901 in the sunken wreckage off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera, this device, packed with gears and wheels, has been named the world's earliest analog computer. Unearthed as a single corroded lump, it was the keen eye of archaeologist Valerios Steas who first noticed its intricate gears. After extensive conservation efforts, the device has been split into 82 separate fragments, now exhibited as 3 primary pieces. What's remarkable about this mechanism is its purpose. Quite shockingly, it was built to mimic the cosmos. Working much like an ancient handheld planetarium, it could predict celestial events, including eclipses and the positions of stars and planets, years in advance. This feat was achieved through a network of clock-like wheels and gears, a masterful show of Greek craftsmanship dating back to around 87 BC to 205 BC. A further twist to the tale came in 2008, when a Cardiff University team managed to peek inside the corrosion-caked fragments using computer X-ray tomography and high-resolution surface scanning. The barely readable inscriptions on the machine's exterior casing revealed that it sported 37 bronze gears meshing together. These gears traced the orbits of the sun and moon through the zodiac, foretold eclipses, and even modeled the moon's irregular orbit. Rumor has it that this incredible mechanism might have been even more advanced. There are whispers that it may have calculated the positions of the 5 known planets of the time. While parts of the device are believed to be lost to time, ongoing work with modern computer modeling is bringing us closer to recreating this astonishing piece of ancient tech. This is truly an underwater find that sends shivers down the spine. Number 1. The Abyss. Picture the abyssal zone of the ocean. It's the stuff of nightmares. This extreme region, located between 13,000 and 20,000 feet below the sea surface, is a place of perpetual darkness, bone-crushing pressure, and freezing cold. Covering around 60% of our planet's surface, it's a place where only the toughest survive. Pitch black all the time. The abyssal zone is no place for the faint-hearted. Sunlight has no chance of penetrating this depth, making it a challenging space for both humans to explore and organisms to survive. Just imagine the depths of this darkness. It's pretty unsettling. The abyssal zone is a high-pressure world. The weight of water above can reach up to a whopping 600 atmospheres. This intense pressure is so extreme, it could crush any air-filled space in your body or equipment. Only specialized submersibles or robots can venture into this harsh environment. Imagine living in a world where the temperature hardly ever rises above 4 degrees Celsius. This intense cold slows down the metabolism of the organisms, affecting their growth. Plus, it impacts the chemical reactions and solubility of gases and nutrients in the water. If the darkness, pressure, and cold weren't enough, oxygen levels are also remarkably low in the abyssal zone, particularly near the seafloor. Here, decomposing organic matter gobbles up most of the available oxygen, leaving very little for other organisms. It's a place where only certain bacteria or specially adapted animals can survive. Despite all these terrifying factors, the abyssal zone is teeming with life. It's home to a rich array of creatures that have uniquely adapted to thrive in such extreme conditions. Some are almost otherworldly, like the giant squid, the bioluminescent anglerfish, and the Gulper eel with its enormous mouth. Even parasites like the tongue-eating louse and zombie worm have made a home in this dark, intense world. As we learn more about it, we realize just how diverse and awe-inspiring our planet is, even in its most extreme environments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.